Hello friends, welcome back to my video. This is going to be a different one today. We're going to be just talking. It's going to be a long, uninterrupted video. Hopefully it'll be interesting. But before we get into that, if you guys didn't know, Heat Death, my clothing company, our clothing company, is in the middle of a sale right now. It's our biggest one that we've ever done, and I can't believe it. So thank you. If you want, while you're listening to this or whatever, just go to heatdeath.co. There's a link down in the box with the words as well. And go look at the store. I spent a lot of time making it. It's still got some stuff wrong with it, but you know, I'm proud of it. So throughout this video too, there'll be 3 discount codes hidden in the video that get you 10% off your order. So yeah, maybe if you got YouTube Premium, go to heatdeath.co, check out all the items while listening to my voice. Anyway, yeah, dude. I hope that you can fall asleep to this. That's my #1 goal. Excuse me if I'm not the most interesting podcast setting type person just yet. I'll get better at it. It's I'm used to the power of editing and being able to time stuff out. And I've always, I don't know, I think that I'm annoying a lot of the time, but there's gonna be a lot of mouth noises in this too, because I've been up all night and am hanging by a thread with caffeine. A lot of that. So yeah, if you're sleeping to this, have a good night. I hope that I'm interesting in some way. Yeah, so we're going to do a podcast. We were originally like kind of kicking it around, by we, I mean me and Suze, because she's such like a weird like figure on my channel. She never wants to be in front of the camera, and I talk about her so much, and I feel like you guys like really like her and know her, and she's never really on camera or like talking directly. I'm always like her keeper, like she's my Boo Radley up in the attic. But she's gonna love that. Everyone let her know that I called her Boo Radley. But we were talking about doing this podcast idea to, I guess, like give her a face on the channel, so it's not like me being like, my wife that for sure exists doesn't go to another school, for her to have a presence. So we were gonna film that episode the other day, and that's what today was gonna be. But we finally, this is a whole bunch of stories all at once. We finally got the green light on Thursday for her to get back on track with chemo. We had taken like the last 2-3 weeks off because her white blood cell counts were too low, because chemo was making her sick. And the way to kind of think about it, this is what the doctor said, which I don't trust no fucking doctor, but masks. But they were like, yeah, it's working really well. So like you should be excited that you feel like shit, because it means that it's killing all the cancer and also your body. And hopefully you don't get secondary leukemia. But so it's good that, you know, to have those indicators or whatever, that some kind of progress is being made. That's what they don't really tell you with cancer, I guess, as someone that it's my first time with any kind of big medical thing ever. I've been lucky enough to not have to deal with anything. But they don't really like prepare you for how no end goal there is. Like there's no way other than like the initial surgery to get something removed, which like a ton of people that get cancer don't even have the option of getting surgery because of how terrible cancer is, and you can't like, you can't just be like, cut out all their blood, it's gross. So there's, besides having that initial surgery, if you're able to do that, there's not like any concrete ways of progress. At least, like, you know, they have their projections and their, you know, if you don't have anything for 6 months after, you're this percentage in the clear, and 2 years after, and you're this percentage in the clear, and 5 years, and after 5 years, you probably won't fucking get it again or die, but you might. Like, it's hard, right? There's no real end, and whatever end that they say there could be is very nebulous and moving, and it's really frustrating all the time, especially when it's very real how sick you are from it. So yeah, that's nice. I don't remember what I was saying, but it is nice to at least have some kind of indicator of some kind of progress, even if it is the worst, because it's making her feel even sicker. But anyway, we got the green light on Thursday, and you know, I never thought I'd be thankful or demanding to receive chemo drugs. I walked, like, the drive to the clinic in the morning, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to really advocate for you. That's the word that they love in all medical setting. I'm going to really advocate for you. I'm going to tell them that they got it. We're not leaving till we get chemo, drugs, and poison in her fucking body. So that was something I didn't expect, but it came back that we're good. It was, her levels had risen. They didn't rise too very much, and we're worried that by this time next week, they'll be back down into an unacceptable range again, which I guess we'll deal with that when we get there. If that's the case, then we would have to keep doing the daily white blood cell shots for the next 5 weeks to finish out chemo, because we were originally supposed to be done on March 7th, and now it's pushed to March 21st, and we've got the wedding coming, and there's so much, dude. I just want to go to bed. Like, I feel stoked, especially the last month or so, because I've had that passion again for, you know, making videos and posting and engaging with people online and engaging with you guys, which is my favorite. But it, you know, it's, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. I am, for those wondering. It has been really awesome watching, things grow again. That's what I think the overall point was. But I do want to go to bed. I get super stoked, and then when I realize how much there is to do and how much there's left to do, like generally in life, I'm like, damn, dude, I would love to just be nowhere and imperceivable right now. I'm someone with real big dreams and goals and a ton of ambition. And then I do this thing that, like, I obsess. I work so hard. Day and night, I will lose all contact and relationships with my friends in pursuit of a goal. And you know, Susie won't see me for days. And then the second, this is my favorite self-sabotaging tendency that I do. The second it starts working, like everything that I was trying to do, the second I start to see a little bit of like compounding success, my brain goes, all right, fuck off. Like, you gotta do it. You don't have to do anything else. And then I immediately start thinking everything is a chore. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I probably need to go back to therapy. But it's like every time. It's like a weird self-sabotaging thing where I have so much ambition, but I only have that ambition to start being successful to the bare minimum so I can then sleep and play video games and eat terrible food. So I'm the best. It's been like that forever, though. It's never not. So I've, at least in my old age, I've gotten better at like identifying when I'm doing it and then trying to steer clear of it and avoid it. Not always the most successful, but right now, at least, I feel that I am in one of those zones where like I have the ambition and I'm seeing results, and instead of getting tired and bored, I want to fight through it. Because I would also just, I would love more than anything right now to just be playing the game RimWorld. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like a sci-fi colony simulator game. It's like top-down 2D. I'm big into sci-fi, and I'm big into sim games, like simulators. My two favorite games of all time are RimWorld and Stellaris. I've got like 1,200 hours in Stellaris and coming up on 500 hours in RimWorld right now, which I know isn't a lot compared to some people, but yeah, I have been playing a ton of RimWorld. If you don't know what it is, you should go watch YouTube videos on it, because it's like they call it a story generator. Hold on, someone's calling me. It's Susie, hold on. Hey, so you know I'm filming on the podcast right now and I can't stop it, so you're live on air. What do you want to say?
Where's my charger?
Where's your charger? Yeah. Oh, it's on the other side of the bed in the laptop case. The Nintendo Switch charger?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the side pocket there.
Okay.
Do you want to be on camera and say hi or no?
No, I look like a bald rat.
You look like a little egg.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I love you. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. God, she's cute. She's playing some Nintendo Switch game that's like, it's like Graveyard Manager or something. You like help the church and she sells hamburgers with body meat. I don't know. I asked her a couple questions and she said that shit. And I was like, okay. But then I'm over here in RimWorld, which is a story generator. And I have like an army of vat-grown clone children, child soldiers that I use to raid encampments near my base and other villages and cities. And also I have a limb farm where any prisoners of war I take, I throw them in the vat and I cut off their limbs and cut out a bunch of their internal organs, and the vat makes them regrow those missing parts, and I sell the organs and the limbs on the black market. That's RimWorld. It's a fantastic game. It is one of the great game loves of my life, and you should play it if you don't. If you don't know what it is, sorry, but go look it up. I think it's cheap on Steam too, but get all the DLC, and you need all the mods, like vanilla expanded and shit. If you play or if you start playing, just go crazy with it. Also, sorry if the camera cuts out at all during this. I don't know how to take the auto shut off thing off my Sony a7 III because I'm a terrible person when it comes to gear. I buy really expensive stuff thinking that will make the quality of whatever I do better. Then I learn I take no time to learn how to use the expensive gear and then just work around those problems. So that's kind of the story of my life, actually. Damn it. So yeah, is that cancer update is that we have 6 weeks left, 5 weeks left kind of thing. I believe we're going to Washington, D.C. on Tuesday and Wednesday to pick up her wig. She got a wig made out of her real hair. We decided not to, with all of the, if you guys are familiar with cancer or anything like that, you have to ice your hands and feet and head, or else you'll get neuropathy and hair loss. And the icing of the head with hair on it is called cold capping. And we were looking into it, and it was like, you know, $3,500, and you had to pick up your own dry ice, which is at the airport for me. So I'd have to be like driving to the airport with a little cooler being like, can I have dry ice for my dying wife? And they're like, that'll be $70. She's still going to lose her hair. And I'm like, I know. Because they were like, yeah, you'll probably lose like at least like 30%, probably more like 60%. And we were like, so we're going to pay $3,500 to be sad anyway? And they were like, you have cancer. So we didn't do that. We opted to just, we found a really, really awesome wig making company out of Washington, D.C. and New York. They've got 2 places. They're called High Definition Hair. Shout out. You'll probably hear more about them soon because I want to do a sponsorship with them. But they specialize in like natural hair wigs, especially Afro-Caribbean textured hair, which if you have Afro-Caribbean textured hair, you know how absolutely no one knows what to do with it ever. They're like, that's a you problem. So they specialize in that and specifically even further on cancer patient wigs made out of their own hair. And they look like insane. I will definitely show you Susie with hers when we go get it next week, but insane. But yeah, so we didn't do cold capping because it would have just been sad. And I don't know. I don't know if anyone has any experience with it or did it, and let me know if you were successful. But yeah, so cancer has been good as it can be. No one really preps you in any real way. Like it's weird because it's been easier than I thought it would be, but maybe that's because the way I thought it would be is completely different from how it really is. So maybe I had like built up in my head that hypothetical version of what it would be like. So once I experienced the real version, I was like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought, even though it's still obviously like the worst. But it also is, I think, a big factor is just Susie's attitude. She is an unstoppable lady who is just so funny and lights up a room, even if it's a cancer fucking ward. So it's just what she is naturally. And then my goofy ass following behind her being like, I like you. Here's a dick joke. We're a hit at the hospital that we do all the treatments at. So they don't know that I do this. Some of them might by now because they've started being like, you don't look, 80 and dying. And a couple nurses have been like, is that a band tee? Like insert pop punk tee? And I'm like, yeah. And they're, you know what it's like when someone is wearing a band tee of a band that you know and they're not that well known. And when that instant like dogs sniffing each other's asses reaction, where you're like, you like a thing I like that no one knows about? I think I know you and I love you. So I have mentioned now a couple times to the nurses what it is I do. And, it's the standard response usually that's like, what? Like, you read memes? And I'm like, yeah, yes, I'm an entertainer. Now I'm a podcaster too. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's a whole other like weird can of worms. Having a lot of followers online and doing online content. There's such a disconnect between like that number and like feeling like someone who has a large audience in real life. Because I get recognized all the time in public. And I love it. It's really fun. Because it's kind of like this game of, here, let me check the camera real quick. Game of something, dude. Hold on. All right. I'm sure the camera jumped there. I'm sorry. I'm having to film these in like blocks of 20 minutes. Anyway, I was talking about it's like a game when I'm out in public. One that should probably be terrifying because it definitely comes from like a place of anxiety, but I have fun with it because I'm really full of myself. I don't know. But whenever I go out in a public space and there's like people around that like I think would know who I am or watch me, which I know is probably just completely incorrect, totally. Oh, there's a plane going over. They like, I'm like, oh, that look right there. Hey, they probably know me. And I'll like say shit to Susie and she's like, who cares? And I'm like, me. But it is really fun in public when you guys come and say hi to us. And a lot of the times it isn't from just my face. Sorry if you can hear this plane. But like, it's like happened before where, like they won't know me like when they first see me, and then I like at restaurants and shit, and then I've had like waiters where like I start talking and I see their face where like I guess I'm just embedded in so many people's brains from just, you know, reading words on a screen. But I guess I'm so embedded in some people's brains that like they know my voice. And I've had like waiters stop and be like, are you the meme guy on the Talk Tick? And I'm like, yes, I am. They're like, I'm going to spit in your food. But there's such a weird disconnect between the number of followers you have online and feeling like that is a thing that affects your life in the real world, which obviously it affects my life in the real world in every way possible, because you guys are literally how I pay my bills. But what I mean is like, I have 2.2 million on TikTok. 2.2 million people that consciously were like, I want to follow him. And you know, who knows how many people actually see your content or you know, learn or memorize anything about you even after following you, because TikTok sure loves to throttle that reach, baby. That'll be a whole other topic. I don't even know if I can talk about it. Yeah, it is weird how many people that follow me and it doesn't really like come across my mind. It does sometimes. Sometimes the number freaks me out. But then, you know, there's so many people with so many more followers than me. So I can't imagine what that's like for them. Water. Hopefully you guys are asleep by this point. So you don't have to watch me get lead poisoning from a Stanley cup. I know that there's lead in some. I don't even think this is Stanley, because I don't know if that's a style of cup or a brand. And at this point, I am too scared to ask. So I'm going to float it on a podcast where it can be clipped. But this is a practical pour cup. I don't know if that's a brand or maybe a further subdivision of a Stanley. And I don't care to find out. Yeah, so just to wrap up the cancer. It has been terrible, but we are getting through it. It has taken a year of our life out of nowhere. Just literally within a 2-week span in late May last year. Life was, you know, full steam ahead, business as usual. And Susie got a little pain that she had been feeling for a while, and finally went to go get it checked out. And here we are a year later, and everything is different. And I am a different person, and so is she. And it is awful. It's so bad. But I am very thankful to have gotten to go through it with her. And me and her talk about this a lot, as it's happening, but like barring any other complications, knocking on all the wood right now. And like, let's say, you know, we finish this and she's cancer free forever. I will be really grateful that this happened, to us and to me, and, you know, maybe to her if she feels this way as well. 'Cause I feel like it has been just a massive wake up call in life. Like, obviously any crazy injury or illness is going to do that, hopefully, if you're fucking awake. But like, it's ridiculous how much it puts things into perspective in life. where it's so easy to, you know, be like, oh, great, I got to get up today and do things. But even if you're just leaving out the fact that you could die, I'm so sick of not being able to do things. And I know she feels that way too, because of, you know, how hard cancer is on your body and your life and your money and everything. But I will be so thankful for how much of that wake-up call was needed, especially for me. And, you know, for Suze too. It's life. It's easy to take for granted and be like, man, this fucking blows. Why do I care? You should care, because life is amazing. And, you know, I don't want to say that getting reminded of mortality is rad, because it isn't. But there is a side effect of it making the moments of being alive a little bit sweeter, and just remembering that they are sweet. So there you go. There's a little wisdom for you. How do you like that? Sorry if you're depressed right now, too. I'm not depressed, I think. I don't know. I've never been a depressed person. I've been a person that is always sad and burdened. But I've never, like, given up. So I'm, like, functionally depressed, I think is what I would call it. Because I'll get up and do the things I got to do and enjoy doing them. But fuck, I wish I didn't have to do shit. And why does it feel so hard to feel things now? Let's talk about something fun. Boba tea. I don't know. Me and Susie got boba tea earlier. I kind of want some more. I really want some more. I have some questions and stuff from you guys that I'll read in a little bit. If you guys want to, at any time, feel free to leave questions that you want me to answer for the next episode. Questions for Susie too. She's going to be on the next podcast episode. We're going to film that in the next like day or so. So any and all questions. I've reached out about it on the Discord, which are where I'm going to pull some of these in a minute from. But yeah, leave something down below for me to answer, or for Susie to answer. Just things you'd like us to look at or talk about, or me, or whatever. Also, leave a comment down below of one word that I should make a discount code for the Heat Death sale, and I'll make it a code that I'll respond when I put it in the system. Like when this video's out, I'll go through the comments, and if you're like, make titty floppers a code, I'll be like, this was the one that did it. This is the live code. So you guys will have to go down through the comments too, and frickin' see which one worked. So there'll be 4 discount codes in this video. Sorry, we just got, and I want to see, because I want to thank them. Just got an order. Frickin', what's your name, dog? Molly from Minnesota. Enjoy your Death Hawk tea. Thank you. What a great plug this has been. Heatdeath.co. See if you want anything. Okay, let me pull up some of these here questions that you guys sent to me. Is this entertaining? I like just talking. I started this. I just listened to the beginning from earlier, and I sounded super nervous, and I don't know why, because I like talking to myself, by myself, looking at a camera, pretending like we are talking. Hopefully it feels like we are talking, because we are. I can hear everything that you are saying at your TV right now. Say something to me. Shut up. All right, I'm going to start with some of these questions here. Jakey Babe says, why are you gay? African news reporter. You know, I think you're born with it. Can't do much about it. Embrace love. I'll do that when the thing goes. Embrace love. Yeah. Alistair says, what's the podcast called? I don't know yet. I had a podcast years ago. All of the episodes are down, I think. I think you can actually watch some of them on my YouTube members section because I would film them. But I had a podcast years ago called Things Could Be Worse. And I like that name. That's a very me name. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this podcast. I do want to have like a long form video series that is just me talking on this channel because people use my videos for like ASMR. And I'll definitely do like ASMR videos. But this kind of achieves two goals where I get to like talk to you guys and you can, you know, sleep or jerk off or whatever while I play in the background. So that that accomplishes that number one goal. But I also want to have a podcast where me and Susie are on it and talking and like kind of integrating her more into this whole you know, cinematic universe of Dad, the Dad cinematic universe, DCU. So I don't know if me being by myself should be its own series, if it should, and then me and Susie by ourselves should be its own series, or if it should be a series together. I also want to do a podcast with Ty, because I think that would be legitimately hilarious. If you guys listen to podcasts, me and him in real life are like two bears, one cave. He is legitimately Bert Kreischer. If Bert Kreischer was funny, and I am very much Tom Segura when he was funny. So, you know, maybe we could call it like Two Bears, One Cave, like when it was funny, and not a midlife crisis recorded for the internet to watch. I love Tom Segura. He was one of my favorite comics. What do we... Yeah, so I kind of having a dilemma with that, trying to figure out what I want to do with this. So it might take a couple episodes of me figuring it out, and you guys can let me know in the comments what you think the best course of action is, if you would watch these. Slowman Tyrone asks, just got my LLC approved in entertainment. Got any tips on starting a business? Well, my first tip is absolutely get it incorporated, because I didn't do that for a long time, and you know, had my personal SSN at stake for a bunch of money coming in from Heat Death, and that was fun to unwind. I guess advice on starting a business is keep really good books. You know, we got QuickBooks early on, which was really great, but I also had no idea how to use QuickBooks and wasn't going to fucking hire someone to do that. I'm going to do that. Spoiler alert, he should have done that. But just keeping track of things, being meticulous, even at an early stage where like, you're like, oh, this is just for fun. Those are the types of businesses and projects that quickly succeed, and then the foundation that you set up when it was just for fun quickly does not meet the needs of what it becomes, and it's just it's like technical debt if you're a programmer or work in any kind of software spaces, which is basically you're saying fuck it, whatever, it's good enough, it works right now. To then have to spend even more time later redoing the work that you did to facilitate what you need the thing to do now. And that's, again, my life, a product of how lazy I tend to get. But just having meticulous records and a solid foundation that is expecting growth from the beginning is my best advice. If you're going to do something, like, do it. Like I love to throw myself into things, and I think so many people give up way too quickly. If you want to start something new, if it's a business, if you're making content, I always tell people that you have to do it consistently for a year, 1 year minimum, before you can even know if it's going to be successful or not. So many people are like, oh, I want to make YouTube videos, I want to make TikToks, I want to stream. I want to start a business. And they go super hard for the first couple weeks of, getting it all together and setting up and learning how to do things. And then they give like actually doing the thing like 2 months tops. And if you're starting with nothing, no audience, no customers, it's going to take forever and a ton of work to even start seeing any kind of chance of success. And then, you put those 2 months in, you're like, well, that didn't fucking work. On to the next thing. Well, you've just wasted 2 months of your time because you didn't give it any kind of real chance. I always tell people a year. If you have thought this plan out, be it a business plan or a content creation plan, a format, a niche, whatever, figure out exactly how it's going to work and then do it super consistently for an entire year. For me on TikTok, I posted 3 times a day every single day of the year, 365 times. I'm not kidding, did not miss a day. Posted 3 times a day, every day for a year, from 0 to 1 million followers. Now I don't think that's applicable for people that are legitimately just starting. I had been doing content creation for a decade before that. And I didn't really have like a big personal following at the time that I restarted doing online content, because I was in bands for 10 years after I'd done like content creation. So I was like I was more like focused on the social media and the promotion of those bands that I was in than really my own personal audience, I guess. So I had like a small amount of followers, like maybe like 1,000 to 2,000 like actually active, engaged followers, which is so much more than most people that are starting. And plus I knew how to make content and like how to format things and figure out a niche and look at that, kind of lay that plan. So I definitely was in a many steps ahead of where the normal person would be when they start making content. But yeah, it was 3 times a day, every day for a year. I was working a job at the time. I'd quit my last band right as it had signed and started getting successful because I fell out of love with music and got super disillusioned and was in LA. And I was like, well, my mom was fucking right. This was stupid. There goes a decade, nothing to show, because finally the final effort, the band I was in, the guys that were in the band, we just weren't a good fit. And I would have rather quit than be miserable my entire life in a record deal with them, which I still think was a good decision for me. But yeah, I was just in LA working as a social media manager for a vape company, Aspire. If you guys know that brand, probably sold you a vape online and you were 15. I'm kidding. Joke, joke, joke. For legal purposes, we never did that. We checked every ID, but how can you actually check IDs when it's online? Maybe I'll cut that out. No, I won't, because I won't think to go back and look at this, because by the time you're watching this, I will be snuggled in bed with Suze. So sorry, future Brady, you did it to yourself. I am going, oh God. All right, real quick before I clear the card. Oh shit. Oh, Shopify app, please work. Oh, Chatterbox. I want to thank the person that just got something on Heat Death. Frickin' Amelia from Canada, New Brunswick. Enjoy your As Above hoodie, baby. Thank you for your support. I love you. Okay, I'll be right back when I change a card. All right, sorry if the camera angle changed again. Just had to switch the cards out. I'll figure out how to do that later. But anyway, we were talking about things. Yeah, social media. I forget, but hopefully I said something good. Let's see. Leo says, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is like seafoam green, mint green, or shocking pink, or any version of pink. And then like banana yellow, and black. I got completely and totally influenced by Blink-182 as a child. If that's not insanely clear. But yeah, those are my favorite colors. I have a seafoam green Music Man Stingray bass. And then I also have a fire engine red and chrome and white Fender Jag. And then also a snot green Fender P bass that's hanging on the wall there. It's Susie's bass, actually. But she just got a violin, too, and she's learning to play that. So I've been playing that bass to record songs, which will get into other stuff that we're talking about here in a minute. Ooh, foreshadowing. But yeah, those are some of my favorite colors. I also love purple, but I don't incorporate it enough into my personality, I feel like. I really like the color purple. Xander said, have you ever dyed your hair neon? And if not, would you? I have. I've dyed it neon twice. Actually, the first time I dyed it was neon purple, which I'm not going to find the picture, but if you go back far enough on my Instagram, I need to hide all the reels in my profile grid. I know there's like 1,200 of them now, and I don't want to do it because you got to do it manually. But there's pictures of me with my neon purple hair. I think I was like 21 or something. It was when I was in my first band. And then when I was in my last band, about like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I did neon pink, and that was pretty cool. I really liked the neon pink, honestly. I might do that again. I'm thinking of either dyeing my hair black for a while it grows out, or bleaching it back to like platinum blonde, or doing like black and platinum blonde, or maybe platinum blonde and black and pink. That might be insane. I'm down for that. But yeah, I love neon colored hair. I think it's so fun. I've been focusing more on tattoos and piercings with my outward appearance as of late, which I can't wait to finish my arm. I know I kind of sprinted there all last year, getting a bunch of stuff, and then stopped. And well, I think I know what it was. It was the cancer. Yeah, love dyed hair. Julia says, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received? Give up. No, I'm kidding. It's not give up. I don't know. I've gotten a lot of great advice, throughout my life. I've been very lucky, especially as like a dumb kid, kind of like stumbling his way through, this, whatever this is, entertainment industry, music industry, content creation, internet culture. I have like been very lucky since I was a young kid, on like just randomly surrounding myself with people who happen to be way smarter than me. And it was not at all an active decision on my part as a kid. Just always randomly got really lucky with it. But I don't know. I think the best advice, I didn't get, again, the doing things for a year. I will say that to go back to the joke of give up, there's actually something in that, which is recognize when you should give up on something. I feel like most of the time, when people face that, it's like relationship stuff. And just sunk cost fallacy of being like, well, I spent so much time with them that if we end it now, then everything was for nothing. And it's like, yeah, that's the point of life, right? That's it. You're going to fall on your face and have nothing again so many times. But it doesn't matter because none of this matters. And you got to experience something. That's cool. So yeah, dump them. No, it's know when to walk away for sure. Like I said, I was in bands for a decade, from literally 14, 15 years old until 25. And I, as a kid, I was like, I just want to be in a band. I saw Blink-182 when I was 10 years old, and I was like, I'm going to do that my whole life. All right. And then a couple of years later, All Time Low, which is like a pop punk band that sucks now. They had this live DVD there was like a live concert mixed with like tour footage. So it was like a tour vidoc and a live concert all at the same time, and also like a behind the scenes of making their album. It was called Straight to DVD, which if you like pop punk and don't know, you know, maybe because pop punk got popular again, if you want like a great piece of history and just something that perfectly encapsulated what that specific time in pop punk was like, and like Warped Tour and everything, the Straight to DVD by All Time Low is like literally it was like that. It was such a fun time to be a fan of that kind of music, to be a band on the come up. Like, I just think when I think of that time and like watch Straight to DVD, I get this like golden light feeling in me, because it felt like the world had infinite possibilities and was just a fun place back then. But I then saw Straight to DVD, and that even further cemented. I was like, no, yeah, we're doing that. And that sent me down my entire life path. And I did music for a decade and was in 3 bands over 10 years, 2 of which were really successful, one of which was insanely successful. Toured the world a ton of times. I've toured the States. Like I have played like 2,000 shows in the US alone, over that time. And I loved every second of it. But you know, towards the end of that decade, I realized a lot of things about myself and started being like, well, do I even want to do this? I'm only doing it because it's what I've wanted to do when I was a kid. And if I give up now, then who even am I? Do I have an identity outside of this? Do I have interests outside of this? Am I good at things outside of this? And at the time, the answers to those questions lined up in a way that I think I would see them differently. I would have different answers to those questions if I made those same decisions now, or asked those same questions of myself now after having the lived experience of asking and answering those questions, which is not possible, but the answers to those questions would change a lot now. But at the time I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This and like I did it. Like I said, like a big label deal. If I had stayed in the band, what it would eventually have gone off to do would have been bigger than anything I had ever done in music. And I knew that at the end, and still felt that way. And it was a really strange, green tea caffeine jitter is setting in. It was a really strange way to end an era of my life. It definitely like was pretty depressing, like for sure, pretty bad. But it worked out. And I am very glad that I made that decision to walk away, because I am so much happier now in my life, and I have so not so many more opportunities, but just way different opportunities, and mainly opportunities that benefit me and my family alone. Where like when you're in a band, you do a lot of like self-sacrificing work, where like everyone's putting in a lot of work for the hope that the overall thing will be successful. And you know, if you no longer are a part of that thing, then all that work that you did for that thing kind of gets invalidated. And I'm really thankful that the decisions that I make now and the opportunities I have now specifically only benefit me, which I know that probably sounds bad, or like, you know, shitty, but it's reality. I'm sure you guys get that. Sorry, I was moving back to a brighter page to illuminate my greasy face. But I'm really, really happy that I made the decision that I made. And I think that it also allowed me in hindsight to miss the thing that I got so disillusioned with, being music. I still have a weird relationship with music right now because, this part of me pays the bills, and those bills have to get paid. And the music doesn't really make any money yet. So it's hard to justify spending time on it all the time, which is now a new kind of weird thing to come to grips with. But I think that I've been put in a place where we will be able to be really successful with the music. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer to just know when to give up, when to let something go, I should say. It's okay to let things go. But don't let go if you shouldn't, and there's no way to know, and fuck. Sorry. Let me go back to my questions here. Coffee Bear says, what if you called it Dad's house? Nah, because that just makes me think of like shitty shag carpets in a room that smell like cigarettes, which is not... Oh God, that's not far off. Okay. Your favorite asks, what are your tips to forming a band? I'm a bass player. Oops. Well, that's my first tip. And a singer and would like to pursue music. Okay. I'd say I'm fairly qualified to answer that. I think this is not even the first thing. This is thing number 0. When doing music and starting a band, practice so much. Like, get together in a room and practice as much as you possibly humanly can. Get super tight as a band. Learn how to write songs with other people. If you already know how to write songs, and everyone in the band already kind of knows how to do that, just practice every day. Be so in tune with being in a band, because there's so many other nebulous aspects once things start moving to being in a band, that the fundamental thing of being really fucking good and tight as a band is like the first thing for some reason that gets pushed to the wayside as like, yeah, we're a band, fucking, that's for sure. We don't need to practice. That's the number one mistake, because you see all these bands that are really good bands and they start, finding some success online and things are happening, and then they're like, we don't need to really progress as a band anymore. People like this, and then you don't practice, and then it's the easiest way to have things fall apart as soon as they're starting to go good. So number 1 is, if you're in a band, practice so much. And if you're not in a band yet and you're just playing an instrument or singing or whatever, you're filling a role that you would be in a band, before you've found a band, get so good at your instrument. If you play and you want to sing, get good at doing that. I'm going to sneeze. Oh God, I feel it. I'm going to gum. Just be so good at your instrument, as good as you can be. Because there's a lot of benefits to being in a band, and it's the best thing in the world. But it's pointless if you suck at your instrument. And I'm saying this as someone who did that as a young kid. That was like, I've had 2 weeks of guitar lessons in 6th grade, and I really like playing music, but guitar's kind of hard. And this band said that, hey, if you can be a bassist, which is 2 less strings, no one wants to be a bassist, you can be in the band. I never got good at bass for like fucking 6 years after that. I was like playing on stage to like sold out shows, headlining shows with 2,000 people a night there to see us, and I was playing at a 6th grade level, like could barely read tabs, and that's it. Had no like theory in me whatsoever, which is another thing that you should definitely get good at. That's for like later stages when you're in a band, like once things start getting going and you're going into like studios and rooms to write with people. You gotta know theory, dude. Like it's okay if you don't, like, if your band doesn't know theory. If there's like one guy in the band that's really good at it, that'll be like your saving grace. But a whole band that every single member like knows theory like the back of their hand, is gonna, one, impress people behind the scenes, like those producers, those, you know, administration manager type people, as like a band that's not fucking around and is like, you know, a lot of a bunch of bands where it's like, oh, they're all really talented, whatever. And like, there's one guy that can kind of help lead a session. Oh, they're still cool. Like, we're going to make something good. Like, but they might be more trouble than they're worth. When it's a band of like laser focused musicians that know theory and then also know songwriting really well and also know producing really well, and then on top of that might even know engineering really well, those bands are unstoppable. Your growth is going to be 10x, even 100x, compared to a band that doesn't know theory. Again, this is coming from experience because I was the guy that didn't know theory in almost every one of my bands, and I suffered a lot in my personal development, and kind of like personal weight within the band because I never learned theory. And then it would push me to focus more on things like social media to like really improve my, sorry, Siri was trying to talk to me, improve my value proposition to the band to justify me being in it. I'm like, oh, he's like kind of a shitty bass player, but he goes crazy live and he's insanely good at social media. Well, the second that they don't need you, it's because there's plenty of dudes that can play insanely well and know theory and go nuts live. And the second the band starts getting traction on its own and doesn't need as much help, like finding new ears, you have put yourself in a position to just get absolutely axed. And luckily when I'm talking about that, I kind of tell that was the position I was starting to get in with my last band. Luckily, I had way more experience than everyone else in that band, so they still kind of looked to me for guidance, and as like a kind of a crucial part to the project in order to move forward. But again, those days are always numbered, and because I use the justification of, oh, I got to provide all this value on social media or experience in navigating record deals and how to tour and how to be a band, how to run this, how to monetize, and like. It just like, that was my justification for not getting better at my instrument or not learning theory like the back of my hand. And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy like no other. So that is my best advice for starting a band. Practice a ton, get super good at your instrument, know theory. And then the advanced stages, which I won't even touch on, is start learning how to engineer, get GarageBand, get Logic, get Ableton, get Pro Tools, get Reaper, get Studio One, whatever it is, start learning how to engineer, because that will just increase your value as a musician and also as a band, once you have a band, even further. So I'm going to have to change the cards out again real quick, but I want to thank this person that just bought on Heat That, baby. What's your name, son? Come say it with your chest. Bailey from Oklahoma. Enjoy your Reaper hoodie, dude. Thank you so much for the support. Heat.co. Okay, I'm going to change the camera out. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I hope that my advice on starting a band was good. Podcast. I hope this has been enjoyable for you guys. It's definitely different from what I usually do. But I am used to talking long form by myself to myself, and I have a lot of years of practice doing it, huh? So hopefully it was fairly entertaining. Let me know again in the comments what I can do to improve this. Is this amount of time good? Do you want shorter? Do you want longer? Feel free to submit any and all questions for me and Susie, for just Susie, because we are going to film that, I think, tomorrow if she's feeling better. And yeah, I've maybe a name, something. Make sure to be on the lookout for those 3 discount codes, because they're one-time use. They were hidden throughout the video. The first person that finds one and uses it gets it. So far. And then also that one comment. Heat.co, baby. Big old sale. Lasting all this week. Tons of shit. I got someone to thank again. Who was that? I want to make sure that I'm thanking. Frickin' Dalen. Sounds elfish. From Ontario, Canada. Enjoy your As Above hoodie and your Dead Inside hoodie. I love that Dead Inside design. It's super cool. Yeah, heatthat.co if you want to go check out the sale. I hope that you guys are great. Love you so much. Hopefully you're asleep by now. Let me know if you used this to go to sleep. You weirdo. I'm kidding. Me and Susie watch ASMR every night. I just fall asleep to usually some lady in a foggy room with neon backlighting and a fucking clay pot going. They don't usually actually get that aggressive, but that's what I love. I love ass smear. And I do have a Taylor Swift ASMR video of me just reading lyrics of her songs. It's filmed. I put it on the back burner because of the sale, but maybe I'll post that if you guys want it. But I hope you guys are great. Have a great Super Bowl, dude. I'm going to make some chicken sandwiches, fried chicken sangs, baby. It's like one of my specialties. I make insane fried chicken sandwiches. They're so good. I love cooking. I can't wait to open a restaurant one day. Yeah. Should we do Heat Death coffee or like Heat Death hot sauce or like Heat Death whiskey? God, that'd be cool. Maybe Heat Death candles. We were playing around with that too. You're going to see a lot of Heat Death soon. If you know what I'm talking about. We'll talk about it on the next podcast episode. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for all your support. And I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe or don't. Thanks.
We are Laotian, from Laos, stupid. It's a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. It's between Vietnam and Thailand, okay? Population 4.7 million.
So, are you Chinese or Japanese?